Love you.
Welcome to Brad and Mira for the Culture Halloween edition.
Wow, I'm Brad Listi.
I'm Brad Listi. Also,
That's Mira.
Gonzalez.
That's Mira Gonzalez. We are celebrating Halloween because today's episode drops, I believe, on the actual day itself, right?
That's right.
Coming in. So we are in costume and we have dressed today. For those of you watching the video on YouTube, we are dressed as the Hollywood Farmers Market. Mira, why don't you describe your costume for people and then I'll describe my costume.
So I am dressed as corn. I didn't have a costume, and so in a panic, I crocheted myself what I describe as sort of a corn helmet. I'll post a picture on Twitter so perhaps you can see, but it's like I got the corn nodules, the corn
kernels.
I got the nodules on my head. I got the kernels on my head, and then the corn leaves kind of over. I look very, very silly. Brad, would you like to describe your costume?
And I'm Kale, organic Kale.
Organic Kale.
Here, like you can see the cruciferousness of my costume, the deep green, the no pesticides or GMOs. And it
should be noted that Brad and I did not plan to both dress as vegetables. We just showed up and happened to both be vegetables.
Yeah, I wore this costume like a few years ago when my son was like really young. He was a monster truck driver. We actually bought, I don't know, my wife went out and bought like a way too expensive like motorized monster truck because he was so into it.
Oh, that's incredible though.
Yeah, and then I had to like chase him around, but I dressed up as Kale, and there's this really funny video, maybe I'll post it, of me chasing him as he's like flooring it, and like I'm running past him or jogging behind him in my Kale outfit, and I was then like roundly mocked by the other parents, like none of whom was in costume. They're all standing there with their cocktails.
You're going to have to post that video now. Brad will post that video along with the episode. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah. So happy Halloween, everybody. It's a spooky time of year. I think it's doubly spooky because we're like a week out from the most existential election in modern American history. And, this is not a political show, but I think this is on everybody's mind, or most people's minds, at least to some degree. And so we're going to talk briefly about what is going on. Mira,
like
what is
going on for years?
Yeah, fuck this. Like we need to like have like they do in the UK, like a 5-week sprint. That's all we need.
It needs to be like not fucking. It's like as soon as you become president, you're campaigning. I'm tired.
Yeah, people are exhausted, and the money being spent like that could be used for so many better things. Than,
it's so silly.
Yeah. So what's happening, Mira? What is going on out there that we need to talk about?
Well, I think first we have some mail from our lovely listeners who we value very much, and thank you for sending us some mail. And please continue to send us mail at, Brad, what's the email?
letters@otherppl.com.
Yeah, send us letters. And Brad, I will let you read the mailbag before we start.
All right. Yeah, so a listener named Simon says, Dear Brad and Mira, this letter is from an Other People listener, and now Brad and Mira for the Culture Convert. Thank you for the podcast. I eagerly await each episode. And after each one, I run through the topics with my wife, a pop culture maven, to see which of them she knows already. It is always all of them. I keep up with Taylor Swift news independently because I'm a good partner. All good things, Simon.
Wow. Shout out to Simon. You are a good partner for keeping up with Taylor Swift news independently. My husband does the same thing, and I appreciate him very much for it. Simon, I recommend if you want to be like just the best husband ever and your wife's a big Taylor Swift fan, get push notifications for TaylorSwift.com emails. That way you can buy things like the cardigans before they sell out, and your wife will be extremely impressed because they sell out in like 2 seconds.
What do you mean the cardigans?
Oh, well, okay. So, she has a song called Cardigan, Taylor Swift.
No, I don't know that.
She does. And in the song, she's wearing a cardigan. And then she came out with merch that was just the cardigan she wore in the music video. And now she has cardigans for each of her albums that she comes out with that are like themed in the color and like the album cycle vibe or whatever the hell. But they sell out in like 2 seconds and then go on resale for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So if you can nab one, your wife will love it.
Do you have one?
I not only have one, I have Tyler. How many cardigans do we have of Taylor Swift?
You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
3?
3?
I think so.
Well, and then we have 2 of the folklore cardigans, right? The new one and the old one?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we have 2 versions of the folklore cardigan. And see, Brad's Kale.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I didn't make my costume. I bought it.
That's true. Yeah, it's not handmade. Yeah, so I have 3 to 4 Taylor Swift cardigans because I'm psychotic and my husband is kind. So Simon, good job.
Do you wear them, or are you just like keeping them as collector's items?
I wear some of them. I don't really like keeping things as collector items. I kind of feel like if I have a thing, I want to use it and have fun with it, even if
does it say Taylor Swift on it?
Not like big. It's got like a little like tiny patch in like the very corner that just says like a Taylor Swift, like it would like a designer or something like that. And it's mostly just like got like little star patches and stuff. Like it's just like a regular ass cardigan, but people who know Taylor Swift know.
Unifying.
Mick,
people.
I'm interested in like what kind of things you do as a truck driver. What do you drive around? What other podcasts do you listen to? I want you to send us a letter telling us what it's like to be a truck driver in Australia.
That's would be interesting. I would like. Yeah, I want details. And I think we have actually received a request from a listener that we create a playlist of all the various Brad Learns music. So we'll have to try to get that done.
Yeah, we got to do that now.
All right, Mira. Well, let's get to like what's in the news, in the culture. We sort of touched on it at the very top, where all this election, like pre-election madness, is unfolding as we are now a week out from the verdict.
So fucking weird. I mean, Jesus Christ! Do you want to talk about what drugs we're gonna do on election night? Because for me, it's like maybe not alcohol. I feel like it kind of hurts my tummy lately because I turned 30 and now I'm old. But like
so old.
Xanax and a lot of weed, like. I guess that's probably it, but like a lot of weed.
I don't know if I think I'm just going to be in the garage with the lights off, just alone, just in the darkness, just sober.
We have a really dark election night stream where like you just get more and more depressed and it's not even funny. It's just sad.
Oh, I mean, I will be, if Trump wins this thing, I'm going to be devastated. I think a lot of people will be devastated. It's so fucked up, the whole thing.
I think that it's not, it's like, it's going to be like last time. It's not going to be decided in a night. And we're all going to be watching like MSNBC being like, is it going to be decided? And then it'll be like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think the only way that it gets decided is if voters really break one way or another. And if there's like an upset. I think if there's like an upset in Florida, because Florida always is cold early.
I remember this last time. Last time you were like, Florida is going to flip. And I was like, okay, Brad. And then it didn't. One thing about Brad and I's relationship is that I love when I'm right and Brad is wrong.
She does take great pleasure in this, but
true.
So what's going on? We've got like the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
This has, I guess, some like vague pop culture implications, but it's worth noting just for how truly like vile and nutty it was.
Vile. And just like, so he had a rally at Madison Square Garden. I didn't watch it, obviously, because I don't care. But he had a comedian on. Who even is the comedian? Just some, like one of these fuck-ass comedians who are just like, nobody likes them. And so they perform at a Trump rally because like, what the fuck else are they going to do, basically? Like, it just like, literally, I'm looking at the clip and it just says speaker.
It's like Tony Hinchcliffe or something. I don't know. A regular ass cardigan.
Don't tell Taylor Swift I said that.
The coveted regular ass cardigan.
The coveted regular ass cardigan in various regular ass colors. So good job, Simon. Thank you for listening. And
we have, shout out to Simon's wife. We have another letter. This one comes to us from a listener named Mick in Australia.
Hello, Mick.
It says, hi, Brad and Miri. I think he's calling you Miri, M-I-R-I.
Miri, like Zach and Miri make a porno.
That's right. Hi, Brad. Should I do this in an Australian accent?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Hi, Brad and Miri. The Miri addition to your pod is wonderful, hilarious. That's not the right way to hilarious.
No, keep it going.
Naughty and nice. I am a truck driver from Melbourne, Australia, and simply love your pod. My job is a loner kind of experience by default, so my relationship with my podcasts are magnified because of this, and I'm always excited by yours. You're an excellent interviewer. Your curiosity and humanity always shines through. I, in particular, love the Paul Theroux interview. Oh, he's talking about my literary. See, he likes my high culture
literary
stuff.
highbrow stuff too.
I, in particular, love the Paul Theroux interview because being a huge admirer of his writing. May I impose one question? Could you please tell me the artist you play at the end of each episode? I've tried to find it, but with no success. I will make a contribution to your Patreon. Keep going. Mick from Oz, with love and respect to you both.
So a couple things, Brad. It kind of started out Australian.
Yeah.
Then it kind of went British.
I know.
Then it kind of went to like almost like a 1940s like Atlantic accent, like, hey, see here, buddy, like that kind of thing. It was really
hey, what do you say? Yeah, it was a journey. It was an accent journey. But I just want to answer Mick's question. The music in the podcast is
written and recorded by Brad.
Yeah, with Rick Rubin producing, and I get it from a music library, so it's not by anybody you would know. It's like music that I pay for so that I can use it with impunity.
Or is he talking about the like Brad Learns music? I don't know. I don't watch our podcast, so.
Oh, well, the Brad Learns music is created using artificial intelligence. It's the one use case for AI that I've managed to figure out that makes sense. It's fun.
We should come out with a playlist. I feel like Mick from Australia might enjoy it while he's truck driving. This podcast stretched very far to a truck driver in Melbourne, Australia.
It's a small world, and this podcast is it's bringing people together. It's bringing the world together. It's his name either.
I don't know, but he's not very funny. So he said something that has just made Puerto Ricans so fucking angry, and frankly, it makes me fucking furious too because it's incredibly racist. Let's listen to the clip.
Welcome, everybody. A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. A lot going on. Like, I don't...
All right. So I have thoughts on this.
Yeah, tell us.
There are some people, I guess people of the political right who are like, it's just a joke. You can't take a joke.
It's like not a funny joke. That's the thing.
Liberals are pearl clutching. Like, first of all, the basic dynamic of humor is that you should be punching up.
Also that you should be funny. That wasn't a funny joke at all. It was a boring, shitty joke.
But like, you're in a political rally and you're making jokes that are like, would fit in a roast. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not a roast. It's a fucking
like a
political rally.
Puerto Rico.
And this guy is not Puerto Rican or even Latino, so he's making he's a white guy making a joke about a culture and a people that he has no affiliation with, and he's punching down,
calling them trash.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just nothing redeemable about it, and it's not something that should be happening at a presidential rally a week out from a very consequential election.
No.
And anybody who tries to disentangle Trump and his campaign from this comedian needs to understand that like every single word spoken at that rally was vetted by Trump's team. Like, these rallies are very carefully produced. Like, they knew what he was going to say and they were cool with it.
Of course they did. I mean, like, Trump's whole thing has been like, the bad Mexicans are coming over from the border to rape your children, and they're gonna fucking, they're coming from insane asylums with, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, the late great Dr. Hannibal Lecter. I mean, he's gone insane, but his whole thing is just being a virulent racist. Like, of course he's okay with this insanely racist and shitty comedian. Like, this is what really gets me. I mean, what really gets me is the intense racism and hatred and just like fucking, like, just disgusting, like, at a fucking presidential rally saying something that fucking gross about, like, what is considered the United States, by the way. It's not Mexico. Like, Puerto Rico, they can't vote, but that's part of the United States, and they're still being that fucking racist. It's psychotic. But what gets me about these fucking comedians is they're like, oh, nobody can take a joke. Like, comedy is about being edgy or whatever the fuck. And then they go out there and make the dumbest joke of all time. How many people have made a joke like there's a floating island of trash, it's called Florida or whatever the fuck? Like, that's like a classic joke that people make. It's boring. It's not funny. It's like these people are like, oh, everyone's canceling me. Yeah, because you're a bad comedian. And like, it's not funny to just be like, I'm a racist. Like, Puerto Ricans are dumb. Ha ha. It's not funny.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. It was like a deleted tweet that was like unearthed somehow, or somebody screenshotted it by this same comedian, where he was like, does anybody want to go in halvesies on a slave?
Jesus, fuck.
I mean, that's who this guy is. He's just sort
Again, not fun, racist and not funny.
Yeah. But it's also just, it kind of feels like Madison Square Garden, which everybody I think at this point, or who watches the news, is probably aware that there is a historical precedent where with this like 1939 Nazi rally during the World War II era, that was like a really dark moment in American history. And this, I mean,
yes.
I know Trump and his people will deny it, but like this was clearly intended to sort of echo that event. And
wait, so there was a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden?
Yes, in 1939.
Okay, wow. That's
and like New York is not in play for Trump. It's his hometown, I guess, but or at least it used to be. And but the election itself is not, the state of New York is not going to go red. So
they're hoping for it though. They're like, oh, California's going to go red. Like, they've lost their minds.
They've lost their minds. There might be some like down ballot races out in like the New York City suburbs.
Whatever the fuck. Like, but that's always been the case.
Yeah, so there might be some like electoral import there, but it was really just him wanting to play Madison Square Garden and have like a big rally with his.
Was it full? Like Madison Square Garden? Did he fill it up?
Yeah, I mean it's 20,000 people in a city of like know,
20,000. That makes sense.
There's 10 million people in New York or whatever. It's like they're grabbing 20,000 MAGA people is it's not some huge feat. And I'm sure some people came in from Jersey and, other,
I'm sure, and other neighboring places. I mean, people are fucking insane. And there's like a million places around there.
But it felt like some sort of like culminating event. It's like this is where it was always headed. Just like the ugliest, most overtly racist and like just dumb, mean-spirited.
Dumb. It's like, yeah, like racist, horrific, like fascist, just like all of the worst things. And stupid. And I mean, please don't cancel me. Looks like shit. Like the Nazis had like a fucking thing where they were like, oh, all of our suits have to look totally perfect and they have to look exactly like this and our fashion thing is like this, which was horrific.
Do you know who made those Nazi uniforms?
Was it like Hugo Boss or Calvin Klein?
It was Hugo Boss.
Yeah,
Hugo Boss.
that piece of shit. Like, yeah, exactly. And like, so they had like Hugo Boss uniforms. You go to a MAGA rally and it's like a bunch of like the fucking fattest, most like poorly kept men you've ever seen with just beards like all over their face and like all over their neck. And they look like shit. Like they haven't showered and like they're doing like at weird fucking poses and jumps. And like it's like the most unattractive fascists I've ever seen in my life.
Right? What's happened to the attractiveness of fascists over the years? It's clearly in decline.
At least try. Now they're just like, all right, we give up. We're just racists, and that's it.
I don't get it. It's like that. I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to sort out how this was attractive to so many people. But I also have to ask, because the thing is that this joke about the Puerto Rican people and the island of Puerto Rico being a pile of garbage or whatever, I don't get this at a level of like pure politics. Like you're trying to win an election. You're trying to win a close election. And you put a guy up who totally alienates, like not just Puerto Ricans, but I think alienates a lot of Latinos and Latinas, right? Like that's...
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's like, it's kind of been his thing the whole time. Like he's alienated Mexicans, he's alienated Chinese people, he's alienated Muslims. Like he's just like really counting on the white people vote. But also, I don't know, like it's I don't know what the Puerto Rican voting base like was like, or like what it's like in certain areas. If it tends to go red or tends to go blue in certain. I think Pennsylvania, there's a lot of them, and they tend to go blue already. Is that right?
Like the Latino vote broadly, and of course it's not a monolith, but if you just look at the numbers, I want to say it's like 65-35 blue. So that's like
But not just Puerto Ricans, like Latinos in general.
Latinos in general. But like what's interesting to note is that, just as one example, since we were talking about my dream of Florida flipping, there's 1.1 million Puerto Rican Americans in Florida.
So that's the thing that I think is both confusing but also almost makes sense, is that because in Florida, the Cuban population is really, really huge, and they all are like super Trump supporters, like really, really red. And so I wonder if they're just like, who cares about the Puerto Ricans? There's way more Cubans in Florida and they're voting for us anyways.
I don't know how many Cuban Americans. I mean, most of the Cuban American like hardcore right wing population is centered in Miami.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like because if you look
like strategy.
That's what I'm saying. Because like Trump in 2016, I want to say got 46.8% of the vote or something, or 46.4, and then in 2020 got like 46.8. Like I don't think he's ever gotten more than 47% of the vote share.
Popular vote.
And so you're in a neck and neck race, and you're trying to win in all of these swing states, and you're just alienating the shit out of entire voting blocks.
I mean, I guess if we think about it, he's done it this whole time. He alienated the Haitians with they're eating dog stuff, alienated the Muslims with all the Israel shit, alienated Mexicans by saying they're crossing the border and being fucking evil. Everybody. It's just, he's really banking on white people. And
by the way, I want to say there's like 300,000 or 400,000 Haitian American voters in Florida. So I'm telling you.
And Mexican Americans, there's like more of them than any but these people. Like Mexican Americans are fucking everywhere, and he's just alienating them left and right.
So after this joke, this Puerto Rico joke, a slew of Puerto Rican celebrities immediately, like almost instantly, started posting their endorsement of Kamala Harris on, I think it was mostly Instagram. And this includes Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez, and Ricky Martin, who, like, this is crazy to think about, collectively have more than 300 million followers.
I believe it. Yeah.
So like the reach, I mean, not all of whom are in the United States, I should add.
Also, but there's probably overlap, like one person following all three of them is probably pretty common.
Yeah. So anyway, it's tens of millions, even if not hundreds of millions of people, many of whom are Puerto Rican or Latino, and all of those celebrities. Like I want to say early in the election cycle, when they were talking about how to move the needle with Latino voters, how you'll have a little segment on some news show, and it's like, how do we move the needle with Latino voters? And
don't give them rice. Maybe we'll do something else though.
Don't throw paper towels at them like Trump did. But somebody was saying that the only celebrity, like with a comparable level of influence to like Taylor Swift in terms of the ability to materially move the needle, was Bad Bunny.
Really?
I don't even know who Bad Bunny is, so I have no idea.
Like Latin American songwriter. Like he got really popular in Puerto Rico, and then became popular in the States. Sings mostly in Spanish. He's cool. I like his music.
Yeah. So I mean, but I feel like he's got a lot of influence. So maybe that'll make some sort of difference in the outcome. I don't know, but it just seems
Trump like so dumb that he was just banking on the fact that Puerto Ricans can't vote, like in Puerto Rico, like that. Because I mean, that's incredibly stupid if that was the calculation that he was making. But I don't know.
Our Puerto Ricans cannot vote?
No, unless they were born in the United States. Even though Puerto Rico is technically part of the United States, it's a colony.
Okay. Yeah, and I just feel like I don't know. It's just.
I think Trump voted against giving Puerto Ricans the right to vote too. So maybe like he's just hated them for a long fucking time. Well,
he denied, I want to say, billions of dollars in aid after Hurricane Maria, I think it was.
Right, true.
Like, he held up like the aid. He's a racist, and he clearly has it in for he clearly has it in for people of color and
all of them.
The problem, like the larger problem with all of this, is that it's really sad that this is part of our presidential election, and that this kind of discourse is being normalized in America. It's really damaging.
Been normalized, it's not good. America has one export, and it is racism.
But I think that even in the Trump campaign, more often than not, it's like dog whistles and sort of wink, wink, nod, nod. Occasionally it gets a little bit over the line, but like usually it's kind of
It's
you know,
enough. Like,
it's
you know,
enough, but it's plausibly deniable or whatever. But this was just like totally overt, like saying the quiet part out loud.
yeah.
And then you had last night, I believe, this surrogate for the Trump campaign. He's like a former assistant to J.D. Vance, who made this comment to Mehdi Hassan.
This, like, before we started this episode, I was like, Brad, I'm going to get so mad about this that maybe it won't be funny. So I'm going to try my best to hold back.
Listen, it's not funny, but it's like, it's just worth noting, like, how out of hand things are.
Dude, this was out of fucking pocket. So what, like, do we have a sound clip? Maybe that might be helpful. Let's see. I mean, if you want to describe it while I pull up a sound clip.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically there was like this CNN panel discussion of the presidential race. So it's like, you know, one of those news programs where there's multiple guests and they're all sort of talking over one another. And in CNN fashion, they have, like, you know, people who are pro-Kamala, they have pro-Trump people, and they're debating. And Mehdi Hassan, I think, even wrote a book about how to win debates with people. So he's, like, rhetorically gifted when it comes to disagreeing and, you know, holding powerful people to account and all this stuff. And he and his name's Ryan Girdusky.
Yeah.
This is the Trump guy who's like J.D. Vance's boy. And this Ryan Girdusky is having an argument essentially over politics with Mehdi Hassan, and then made the comment in the heat of the exchange that
so I'm not finding a sound clip, but I do have the exact quote here that I can read.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, Ryan James Girdusky, a conservative commentator, blah, 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 told Mehdi Hassan, a former host of MSNBC, who is Muslim, that he, quote, hoped his beeper doesn't go off in response to Mehdi Hassan basically saying that when I don't know exactly who the attack was from, I assume Israel, all of the beepers and of people in Lebanon exploded and killed a bunch of people and maimed a bunch of people. And so this guy is on CNN telling a Muslim journalist reporter that he hopes his beeper doesn't go off. He hopes that he doesn't. He's basically saying, I hope you get killed by a fucking explosive device in your beeper in the most horrific way possible. So he's saying, I hope you get killed, and I hope you get killed in a fucking racist way. It's like saying to a black person, like, I hope you get lynched. It's horrific. Yeah.
And so, like, and this guy, you know, was subsequently let go by CNN. He will not be, according to CNN, will not be appearing. But
like I said to Brad before this, I hope that he gets fired. I hope he never gets a job anywhere ever again. I hope his wife leaves him. I hope his kids hate him. I hope that his family hates him. I hope that he dies alone. So this is what Brad wanted to avoid, but I've got a big mouth and I'm sorry.
I mean, it's indefensible. And
I hope the absolute worst for this man. I hope his dick stops working.
I feel like, it's like this sort of rhetoric and this sort of like ugliness is just enabled when you have
I hope he never has sex again.
When it's coming from the top. So anyway, it's just like an ugly moment. I'm sure it's going to be like a turbulent week, and I'm hoping that next Tuesday people go out and vote or vote, ahead of time if you can vote early. And just,
unless you're voting for Trump, in which case don't go out and vote.
No, don't. We like. I feel like he's like a vampire. We have to drive a stake through his heart this time. It's got to end. This has to end. I cannot do this anymore. Hopefully there's enough of us that can make that determination.
We all know that I'm not an optimist about anything in my life, but I am hoping
that she wins. You think she's going to win, or do you think she's going to lose?
I feel like if I say what I really think, then people are going to get mad at me when the results come up either way.
I think she's going to win. Just for the record.
I think Trump is going to win. I don't hope that Trump's going to win. I desperately, and I cannot emphasize this enough, desperately hope that he loses. But I fear that he won't.
All right. Well, we have two different views of what's going to happen. I think she's going to win, and I don't think in the historical sense that it's going to be particularly close in the end.
Should we put money on it? I'll bet you $10 Trump wins.
Okay. That's fair.
That way, if I am in, the deepest pits of despair when he wins, at least I get $10.
That'll be and then if she wins, you'll just be so elated you don't care. You'll just...
Exactly. Win-win for me, but kind of lose-lose for Brad.
I like how you set these things up.
Yeah, right. I once set up a bet with Brad in which I don't have to pay him, but he has to pay me if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are not married by June 2025.
I think I'm going to lose.
Yeah, he's really bad at betting.
So what else is going on? What else is in the culture which is lighter and sunnier and happier than this Trump bullshit?
Well, let's see. Gisele Bündchen is pregnant, so there's that.
Aw.
How fucking old is Gisele Bündchen? Sorry, like not to whatever, like good for her, but is like I feel like she's older.
She might be in her 40s. I don't know.
Oh, 40 is not so bad. Let's see.
I don't know, or not. I have no idea how old she is.
You want to guess?
I'm going to say she's 38.
38. Okay, I'm going to guess 43. All right, let's see. Gisele Bündchen age 44.
44.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. So she's pregnant, but the father of the baby is her. Is she married to this guy? It's like her new boyfriend, right? The guy that she...
Not married to him. His name is Joaquim Valente. And he is her jujitsu teacher.
Interesting.
Now, Brad, her ex is Tom Brady, who we watched. I know that we watched that commercial of his where it's like, or we talked about it, where it's like Tom Brady, and then all the little Tom Brady's coming in being like, you're going to be an announcer. Like, you go Tom Brady, and then he becomes like an announcer or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was the most ridiculous, like, ego stroking commercial when Tom Brady made his debut after ending his playing career. He this year made his debut as a color commentator for the NFL, the National Football League. Really,
and apparently he was bad at it. So,
I don't think the reviews have been awesome.
Yeah, no, people are not huge on that. So I guess she already has kids with him.
She has 2 kids with Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady has another kid with another woman, and now Gisele's coming in hot at age 44 with another sibling.
Yeah, holy shit! So she also we don't know for sure that she cheated on Tom Brady with this guy, but we do know that she knew the jiu-jitsu teacher and was being taught jiu-jitsu by him during her marriage to Tom Brady. So.
I saw a video of Gisele and her boyfriend like fighting each other, like jiu-jitsu style, and they're sort of like tumbling around. It's like very physical and very intimate, like and they're like rolling around, and I'm like, I wonder if this video was like filmed when she was still married to Tom.
Oof, man,
I think,
rough.
I don't know the details, and I don't like to. I don't like when people break up. It's sad. It's sad to me, but like, I know how like manically intense and competitive Tom Brady is, and how like outrageously type A he is about his schedule and his working out and his diet and his training for football and his commitment to winning and all this stuff.
His wife is fucking the jiu-jitsu teacher.
And his wife was, I think she honestly was like, dude, you've got, and he played football until he was like 40. I think he's my age. Or almost my age. I would have
worked him so hard if he didn't quit football by like age fucking 35. Like, holy fuck.
He had all the money he needed. He had basically set every record. He'd won like, a bunch of Super Bowls. There's nothing in the game that he hadn't done. And she was like, hey, maybe spend some time with me. Maybe spend some time with the kids. Like, let's turn the page. I've been basically playing support for you while you've been chasing your...
He fumbled her.
And she left. She called it off. She's like, okay, you're going to... Because I think like he retired, if you recall, or maybe you don't recall.
I don't.
And he made this video where he was like down at the beach and he's like, I'm hanging it up. It's time. And then, of course, he came out of retirement like he's like Cher or something, like this very like melodramatic, like, and there was this happened in the off season where he decided he was going to play again. And I think that was the last straw. There was reported animosity between the two when he made this decision. She basically was giving him an ultimatum, and he said, fuck you, I'm playing. And he went out and played.
Sounds like he deserved to be fucking broken up with then. I mean, he was not a good husband. He was like out here just fucking playing football instead of being a wife or being a husband to his wife. It's
he's like, on paper, he's sort of the ultimate guy. He's like the American quarterback football hero, the ultimate champion.
The ultimate guy is still a shit dad. That's the truth.
And he's a handsome ass, just like leading man-esque,
That's like Mad Men. Don Draper's the ultimate guy, and yet he is like the most depressed, shitty husband, shitty father, just like a fucking mess of a person.
I think in Tom's defense, I don't think he's a shitty father. I think he's a good dad,
shitty
but
husband, maybe not shitty father.
Yeah, I think he loves his kids, and I think he actually feels some heartbreak over this because he posted. It says
this is the fucking funniest thing ever. He like middle school girl style. Okay. Posted an Instagram story. I'm looking at it and it's like a sunset around trees, like looking over Los Angeles, really pretty.
Or Florida. I think he might live in Florida.
Yeah. And so he posted lyrics from the Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, cover of Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, which is like, why not just post the lyrics to Landslide? That alone is so fucking funny to me. But he posted this sunset with the lyrics that said, "Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?"
I love that song. Such a touching song. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. It's very moving. It's very emotional, that song.
Fleetwood Mac was my dead friend Gion's favorite band, and like I swear to God, when I get to hell and see Gion, I'm gonna punch him right in the face for having such basic taste in music, because I go to the grocery store, I hear Landslide, and I start crying buying yogurt. I'm like, Gion, you motherfucker, like why didn't you pick a song that they don't play in the fucking grocery store? Like I will kill you a second time.
Yeah, it's like universally beloved, that song. But I think Tom Brady's like having feelings. He's in his feelings on his Instagram story, and it makes me like
him more that he's posting these corny like high school girl Instagram lyrics, like I'm sad sunset shit. It's really funny.
I mean, like without it doesn't seem to be tongue in cheek either. It seems
not
like
at all. It's earnest.
That's a little
so earnest.
He's a grown man my age doing this. Like I
He's
feel
got a little brain damage though.
I feel a little conflicted about this.
I kind of like it. I think it's funny. I think it's like he's just such like a tough like man, like such a football like guy, and then he's like out here posting Fleetwood Mac or like Dixie Chicks versions of Fleetwood Mac lyrics on his Instagram stories when his wife has a kid with a jiu-jitsu teacher. It's the most divorced dad thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people who are like Tom Brady, like these extreme athletes, are so like maniacally competitive that I am going to wager now that Tom Brady is going to start dating, if he's not already, some young woman in her like 20s or early 30s.
Oh yeah.
And he will have more babies with his new bride eventually than Gisele does, because he's got to win.
That's a really, really good call. He's going to find like a Leo DiCaprio style young, hot girl and be like, "Do you want all my money and my fucking mansion? Like, let's have babies." You're 100% correct. That's a really good call. He
has what, I think 7 Super Bowl rings. And so far he's got 3 kids. So yeah, it's like he's going to have 4 more babies to match.
How do you get a Super Bowl ring?
You win the Super Bowl.
But does the whole team get one?
Yeah, like whatever team wins the Super Bowl, the whole team gets championship ring.
Okay, so it's not like just the quarterback or whatever. No. The whole team gets it. I see. Are they real gold?
Oh my God, yeah. Have you seen these rings? Like when like they've gotten so obnoxious.
Solid gold. Wow.
Oh my God, like solid gold, but also like bejeweled it to an extreme degree, and they're gigantic. They're like gigantic, like they're obnoxious, but. Because the NFL is such a cash cow and these guys are so rich, like these teams, they win the title. They owners like lavish.
Yeah, it's like nothing. They get billions, can give a couple million for these rings or whatever. Who cares?
Whatever it is, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like that's good for Gisele. I'm happy. I hope that she has a healthy pregnancy. And I think I read.
If you left Tom Brady, I would do the same if he wouldn't quit football. It makes sense to me. The kids are probably better off, honestly.
She's planning for a home birth, which I'm a little worried about. But
When you're famous, though, it's like a home birth is like you just get like a hospital in your house, basically. Like they're just going to get all the shit in there. Like my mom had 3 home births.
I think there was just an earthquake.
Really? Did I not notice an earthquake again? This is a classic Californian experience, is not noticing an earthquake. Once you have an earthquake and you don't notice it, then you're really from California.
Is there a way to check? Isn't there like an earthquake monitor on the internet?
Go on Twitter and search earthquake. And if everyone's tweeting it, then it happened.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's worth noting.
That would be the second earthquake during a recording that we've had.
Yeah.
Damn.
When we have our podcast sessions, the earth moves.
It's true. The earth is like, oh, podcast time. Let's go. Let's see. Earthquake. Nope, Brad's insane.
I'm insane.
Yeah, Brad's lost his mind. Brad is getting dementia. Poor elderly Brad doesn't know when earthquakes happen. He gets very confused sometimes. Brad's sundowning.
Wait, no. Oh no.
Oh.
That's August 6th.
See, sundowning. Doesn't know it's not August. Very sad. You know, soon enough, he's going to forget my face. He's going to be like, "What? Who am I? Why am I on this podcast? Why are you wearing a corn hat? What is corn? I've never seen corn. I used to be the president." You know, whatever happens to Brad in his old age, we'll be here to see it.
Well, when I am too senile to podcast any longer, you may have to
the podcast still.
Well, and yeah, but once I'm fully incapacitated, you'll have to reach out perhaps to your friend Army Hammer.
Ah, good transition.
It's called a masterful segue.
Masterful segue.
Who Army Hammer, Mira's celebrity obsession, is launching his own podcast. That's he's, you know, I think he's kind of, I guess he's been guesting.
He's been on an apology tour for the first time since the cannibal things. He's been on podcasts.
And now he's trying his hand at podcasting to see if he can like re-enter the celebrity fray and like resuscitate his dead career.
So I'm busting out what I have in front of me, which for those listening is a spreadsheet of some of the research that I've done on the Hammer family, just personally for absolutely no reason.
Color-coded.
Color-coded. And for those who are just listening, I'm still scrolling through it, and there we go.
Jesus Christ, Mira.
Yeah. So I'm completely insane. So when I heard he was launching a new podcast, I got very excited. This is part of his apology tour that he's gone on, in which he has told everybody a couple of things. One, that he has turned religious, and so he's found Jesus and he's repenting for his sins or whatever. And also that he never engaged in cannibalism, but it was a intense sexual fantasy that was consensual but weird. That's the story he's going with. So he's launched a new podcast now. On the podcast, I guess he joked that he likes the cannibalism scandal and thinks it's hilarious. Not great. Not great.
Army Hammer, age 38, explained that the podcast will serve as a, quote, journal for him to acquire wisdom from his guests. He says, quote, "I've been gone for the last 4 years and now I'm back. You know, what are you going to do? So it's going to be a sort of journal or chronicling of putting my life back together. I'll let you into my world a little bit."
Jesus Christ. So I will be listening to every single episode of this podcast, and I will be keeping everybody updated on the crazy shit. He named the podcast the Army Hammer Time Podcast, which makes sense. But what is interesting about that title is that his aunt, whose name I'm forgetting, is pretty much the only member of the Hammer family to completely exile herself and write books about her childhood, which is how I know a lot of the stuff that I've learned. And she wrote a book called Hammer Time: Surviving My Legacy.
That's a questionable title. I mean, I get it, but come on, you don't reference it. I mean, if you're writing a book like that, you don't make it a reference to MC Hammer.
I mean, the trauma that she's gone through and the sense of humor that she has about it, I'm kind of willing to forgive it, actually. I think it's kind of like she's gone through like insane shit and has a bit of a sense of humor about it within the book itself. So it's like, whatever. She's she's brave for writing that book. And it's weird that he decided to name his podcast that too. I guess it's just the only pun he could think of.
Yeah. Wait, his podcast is called Hammer Time?
It's called the Army Hammer Time Podcast.
The Army Hammer Time Podcast. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I don't know. So, I mean, he's just going to try to, if this feels kind of Russell Brandy.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Absolutely.
Where you're like, you're a celebrity of like, with a checkered past, and so then you get into like the quote unquote wellness space and you start trying to become a kind of evangelist or whatever.
It becomes kind of right winger or something. It's like it goes from like, oh, I'm like religious, and then I'm kind of into like health foodie, new agey stuff, and then I don't like vaccines, and then I kind of like RFK Jr., and then I'm kind of like friends with Tucker Carlson, and then I'm on Joe Rogan. Like it's kind of like this pipeline into being like a weird kind of religious right-winger, like Jordan Peterson style, like weird shit. Like that seems like, it's like when you get canceled, you enter this like a group of people who are like the canceled people who like will play, I don't know, like Madison Square Garden and then be like, I'm being silenced, or whatever the fuck. Like, and Armie Hammer seems to have a better publicist than them, maybe because he's reacting in a less annoying way to this, where he's saying like, yeah, I'm bad, I fucked up, like, haha, versus like these other people being like, yeah, I'm bad, I fucked up, and I'm pissed about it, and like nobody's letting me talk now. Like he's paying for some really, really good publicists for this shit, even though it's still not going to work.
So you bring something up though that I have a question about, and it is this issue of censorship, which is like really primary. It's like a primary concern for a certain kind of person politically who like leans right.
For somebody who does something racist and everyone gets mad at them, and then they're like free speech, as if that's what that means.
I just don't get it, because I'm looking for the places where like the government is cracking down in some really egregious way. I feel like everybody can say whatever the fuck they want.
This
right?
is the thing, is that like these people are all like, well, what about like, like censorship and freedom of speech? But really what they're talking about is being angry that they're not being given a platform now. And being given a platform is not freedom of speech. It's not something that you are entitled to. It's not something that anyone is entitled to. Like having like a stage to talk to people is not something that you're entitled to. It's something that you earn because people want to hear you talk. And I think these people who are comedians like Dave Chappelle or whatever, who are used to talking to a bunch of people, have that taken away from them. And then they're like, I'm being silenced, when in reality, it's just that like you stop being funny and nobody cares. There's no, like, the idea of censorship, like you said, comes from the government. It's not just like people being like, I don't give a fuck about you. And no government is censoring these people.
They just don't have the audience that they used to.
Right. And they're having little tantrums about it because they like want to be able to, be on like mainstream television again, and they don't want them anymore.
Yeah, you're not free like there's freedom of speech, but you're not free from the consequences of what you say.
And this is where I say that like Armie Hammer is doing a little bit of a better job than a lot of other people, because he's not out here complaining nonstop. He's not like, I was unfairly canceled, now I'm being silenced, nobody's listening to me. Like he's not being like that. He's trying to have a sense of humor about it, and he's like apologizing but also not getting angrier. And that is like a better strategy than I've ever seen, like of anybody going on a cancellation tour like this.
Imagine being his crisis PR person, like sitting down with him. So
I've imagined it. Because I've done a little bit of like crisis PR in my life, not a lot, but like I have.
You can handle my crisis PR when I have my inevitable crisis.
Your inevitable cannibalism scandal. That's whoops! Did I say that out loud? It's I would have to imagine he has a whole team of publicists who are like having the most stressful time of their entire life, like the past couple months.
Yeah, I'm sure he's paying them well. They're just like, yeah, we'll cash your check and help you make a podcast with loud.
Yeah, I mean, like, like 4 years ago, like he almost got charges pressed against him by the LA County District Attorney's Office. Like he was really in fucking trouble. Like he really had to hide for a while there. It's really insane. And like, okay, so this brings me to, a topic that Brad and I were discussing before the podcast, which is that I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, but Luca Guadagnino. I've never said his name out loud. I'm so sorry for the way that I just said his name. Guadagnino. Can you pronounce it, Brad?
Luca Guadagnino.
Guadagnino.
It's like Italian. I don't know.
I think it's Italian. He's the guy who did Call Me by Your Name, starring Armie Hammer. Which fuck that movie. I hated that movie so fucking much. It was so fucking stupid.
I never saw it.
It's not worth it. It's fucking dumb. It's like, oh, fucking Timothée Chalamet fucked a peach. Great. I'm like so scandalized.
Where he fucks a peach in that movie?
Yeah, it's really fucking stupid.
Like on his own, like in a masturbatory way, or like on orders from somebody?
No, like on his own in a masturbatory way, which is, it's stupid to me because why wouldn't you use a banana?
Wait,
like a peach seems hard and like you'd have to get a hole in it and that's like difficult. But a banana, you just have a peel, no big deal.
You fuck a banana. No, it's like
you're gonna fuck a fruit.
Yeah, you need like a bigger fruit. You need like a melon. A watermelon.
But then a melon's kind of hard on the outside, might scratch you, you know? It has to be like soft.
Ugh, all right.
Well, Brad will let you know what the best fruit to fuck is, but anyways, so this guy, Luca Guadagnino, is making a new adaptation of American Psycho, which I'd like to say is fucking stupid because the perfect adaptation was already made, and it was made by women who could see that Bret Easton Ellis was a fucking dumbass, and which is why it's better than the book. It's one of the only movies that is better than the book version, truly. And now Luca Guadagnino is going to remake it for no reason. Why would you? It's no point. There's no point.
I fucking hate Hollywood. All they can do is recycle this shit instead of coming up with something new. It's like it's just so tired.
IP. It's so tired. But I was saying to Brad, if there is a role that is made for Armie Hammer, it is this one. If there is one role where I almost wouldn't even get mad that Armie Hammer was cast in it, it's this one. Like, if it's written correctly and like, I mean, I would get mad. He should not get cast in a movie, to be clear. Like, he is a dangerous person, but I really wouldn't be shocked if he was. I think that he is really going for this role. I think it's probably part of his apology tour is that this is happening and he's friends with Luca Guadagnino and is probably really vying for that role and trying to make himself a little okay in the press so that he can get it.
I honestly think that in this like media and entertainment culture that we live in, where it's like the post-celebrity media culture and like it's so fractalized that casting him
post-celebrity.
What's that?
What do you mean by post-celebrity?
It's just that celebrities don't matter the way that they used to. They don't have the same level of cultural importance and they don't have the same level of esteem, you know? It's just
interesting.
Not to me, anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm
right.
just
I guess
old.
Like old Hollywood was like different, like Marilyn Monroe and like.
When I was growing up, these people were like mythical. It was like now it's like everybody's just like.
There's some mythical ones, and then there's others where it's just like you're just down in the dirt, like the rest of us, which is why I love celeb gossip.
Like the people I cannot get over how many celebrities who are financially set for life, generationally wealthy, incredibly famous, continuing to work. It's not like they don't have jobs.
Right.
And they are mugging for their phone camera on Instagram like they are 14 years old. And it is so embarrassing to me to watch it happen.
I mean, but it's like, what can you expect from people who their job is being on camera, right? It's like all day long, they spend their time like preparing to be on camera, physically preparing their skin and their body and making sure they look, you know, exactly how they're supposed to look in their minds, perfect, attractive. And it's like their whole job is being on camera. Like they probably like being on camera. Like these, like actors are insane and celebrities are generally insane too. And like the ones who don't post, you just don't see it and you don't think about it. But the ones that do, you're just like, oh, like stop. But they're never going to, because this is like, they've just been given another platform for attention.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, dude, you can't, you've gotten enough attention. You're rich. You've got the money. You did it. And like, you're still like, I understand if you have a movie coming out or something and you make some sort of selfie video where you're like, hey, check out my new movie. Like, I get that.
Right.
I even get every once in a while making like a goofy little video, but like,
right.
these people are posting on Instagram like it's their job, and it
kind of is their job. I mean, they all have like at this point, like social media managers who are saying, okay, you need to post X amount of times a day and you need to post about XYZ thing. And like, it's become such a thing now that I think celebrities do feel it's their job.
I'm talking about the ones who don't need it and are doing it anyway. There are lots of celebrities who don't do this shit. Like,
yeah, absolutely. There are.
They have some like dignity. I mean, things were better. I don't think, I don't know. I can understand how it's maybe nicer to have a more democratized, like, post-celebrity environment where these people aren't held up as like mythical figures, but there was something more dignified about like Cary Grant.
Yeah. I feel like some of them are still held up as mythical figures. Like Taylor Swift is a mythical figure who like rarely posts on Instagram, but is just like, she's like a Marilyn Monroe level mythical figure, but we don't have that many of them right now.
Yeah, she's like a superstar. But even her, it's like we know when she goes to the gym, and we know too much about her. It's like
we never know when she goes to the gym. Like we definitely used to, but at this point, it's like seeing her is like so planned. It's like she's wearing the designer clothes. Oh, she's walking into a restaurant. Oh, she's walking out of a restaurant. She's with these or that people. Like at this point in her career, I think she's become nearly like godly.
I think Tom Brady should be cast in American Psycho. I think
that's good casting. Like a game that I love to play is, okay, ideal casting for a certain role. Honestly, all cannibalism and moral issues aside, again, I don't think you should be cast in this role. I think that would be a bad idea. In terms of who would be the best person for this role, I actually do think it's Armie Hammer.
It would be like what I was going to say earlier is that in this fractalized media and entertainment environment, making that kind of controversial casting call, especially since it's so perfect, like he looks the part, he acts the part, he's, you know what I'm saying? Like it
could be his comeback. Honestly, it could be what gets him back into Hollywood.
But it is the kind of sensational move that could cut through.
Yes.
And could generate like views for your movie, which is really what it's all about. So there's going to be some studio that's like, sure, cast him. And
I mean, like I've been thinking this whole time since the apology tour, Armie Hammer's apology tour started, just like, okay, what's the end goal here? Is he trying to be an actor again? Is he trying to just seem normal again so that he can get his family money? Is he trying to like, what's the deal? And now that I see that this movie is coming out, I actually legitimately think that a huge part of his apology tour is to get a role in this movie. Because I know that this director is, if I'm thinking of Armie Hammer, then this director who has worked with Armie Hammer before is for sure thinking of Armie Hammer. And like, it would be, I think, maybe the only role where Armie Hammer could actually make a comeback. And I think that if he did that, he would get even more publicists for like the movie promo so that he could seem more normal. I think he could come back if he got that role, honestly.
And we're sure that the movie has not been cast yet?
Not that we know of.
Wow. Well, we'll be on pins and needles waiting to see if Armie gets the part. It would be funny in a grim way if he did. It
would be funny in a grim way. So speaking of celebrities posting gratuitously to Instagram, for Brad Learns today, we have a bit of a special segment.
Brad Learns. Oh yeah, this is Brad Learns for all intents and purposes, but it's a bit of a change up to the usual Brad Learns format. It's
Brad Learns Spooky Halloween Edition.
Whoa.
And we will come up with a spooky song for this, which we'll play right now. Okay, great. So, let's see if I can share my screen properly. So what we're going to do here is we are going to look at celebrity Halloween costumes from this year. Now, Halloween itself has not happened yet, so we probably aren't getting all of the celebrity Halloween costumes that will happen, but the ones that we have right now. So we are going to look at these Halloween costumes, and we're going to rate them. What do you think the rating scale should be, Brad? 1 to 5?
1 to 10, like the it's like the Olympic gymnasts or whatever, right?
Right. Okay. So we're gonna rate it.
10 being the best score you can get.
10 being best, 1 being worst. 1 through 10 pumpkins is what we're going to say.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So first off, we have Sophie Turner, who is dressed as Trinity from The Matrix, which,
oh, okay.
I mean, great Matrix costume, in my opinion. I think that of all of the Matrix costumes that you could have, like a lot of people or Neo or whatever, this is the hottest. This is the sexiest, and she looks great. I'm giving this a 10.
I think she looks great. I feel like, is that really what, was it shorts? I feel like, I'm trying to remember. I feel like Trinity had like long pants on, so maybe she amended.
Let's look it up. She might be like a kind of sexy Trinity, in which case 11.
No, I think you should be authentic. If it was pants and she's wearing shorts, I'm going to give her an 8.5 pumpkin.
8.5.
Because she decided to stray from the original.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's see. Okay, up next we have Ice Spice. Do you know who Ice Spice is?
I don't. A musician, right?
Yeah, a musician, a rapper. She was featured on a Taylor Swift song. Good friend of Taylor Swift's. And she is dressed as, do you know what she is, Brad?
I have no idea. She looks like a construction worker.
Really? You have no idea? I feel like it's very Gen X. She's a Lilu from The Fifth Element. Multipass?
I have no idea what that. I don't even know what The Fifth Element is.
What? Okay, so when we turn off this episode, you are going to go and you are going to watch The Fifth Element, because what the fuck? What are you talking about?
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
In the future, and then they make like the perfect woman, and she turns out to be this crazy ass person. Oh my god, it's just one of the most iconic movies of all time. You've got to see it right away.
Well, and Ice Spice is in this photograph that we're looking at. She's wearing like an orange, like it looks like a reflective construction worker thing, but it's also got holes in it.
Yeah. So in the real movie, the woman is like comes out nude. And so she kind of like wraps herself in this like strange, like Band-Aid kind of thing, but then with like this orange construction thing around her because she just doesn't have clothes and is running away. And it's a very iconic look, hence the wet hair also, because she just came out of like a womb kind of thing.
Okay.
And so in the actual movie, she's a lot more naked than this, but like you couldn't really realistically do a costume where you're that naked. So she kind of did it.
What is Ice Spice holding? She looks like she's flashing ID. She's in this photograph of her. She's in like a 7-Eleven in front of like a refrigerator filled with beverages.
Yeah, that's not part of the movie. But yeah, trying to describe it for people. A lot of people are listening, so we're going to try our best to describe these costumes also. So she's holding a multipass, which for those people who have seen the movie, there's a part where she's trying to get through like some kind of government building or something like that. And they're like, here's a pass for you to get through the building. You show this to people. And so she just keeps going up to random people and saying, multipass, because she can't speak English. And it's like a funny part of the movie.
The Fifth Element. How did I miss this?
Yeah, how the fuck did you miss this? That's crazy.
I miss a lot, Mira.
This is like a Gen X movie, though. Like, this isn't even like a young people thing. That's crazy. Well, so what do we give this costume?
I'm gonna give her six pumpkins.
6 pumpkins.
I don't feel like it's not that elaborate. It's just this like weird vest thing, but otherwise it just looks like she's wearing a wig. And
I'll give her a 6.5 because I like the idea for the costume, but the execution is not great. She doesn't really look like the original costume. She could have done better. It's like kind of like plasticky and doesn't, like if she was doing it right, she would have bandages, but it really is just a crop top. Execution, not great. Idea good, execution, not great. I say 6.5 pumpkins.
Fair enough.
Okay, up next, this one's my favorite. So this is Anne Hathaway, who is a rich, famous celebrity with the capability of having whatever costume she would like to wear. What she's wearing right now, let me try to describe, is sort of looks like a paper mache Statue of Liberty hat that seems to be attached to one of the worst wigs I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like a white, straight bob, the wig, but it's like just plastic. And you can see her real hair underneath it. Her face is painted white. She has kind of like big black circles around her eyes, dark lipstick. She has what looks like black tulle, like a black tutu material tied around her neck, and then a shirt that you can see said New York City, but she got a piece of felt, wrote "Boo" on it, and now it says "Boo York City."
Ah, I see.
So
I see what she did there.
She's Boo York City. I guess she's supposed to be like a ghost.
Yeah, she's like Lady Liberty as a ghost.
This is the shittiest costume I have ever seen a celebrity wear. Have you ever seen a celebrity wear a more makeshift costume than this?
This is like, yeah, because I don't know what she's got on besides it. Like Lady Liberty's kind of like wearing some sort of robe, right? It's like
right.
The Statue of Liberty's got some sort of like Greek like robes.
Right. And then what is the thing even around her neck? Why does she even have that? Like what? And she's just wearing a regular t-shirt. A white shirt that says New York City, but with "Boo" replaced with like a piece of red felt that says "Boo."
I mean, I respect the last minute nature of this because that's what I think it is. I think she just like threw something together at the last minute, you know, trying to like be a good sport, but didn't have a costume at the ready. That's very much something I can relate to.
Absolutely.
And I like the wit. I mean, Boo York City, it's a little bit of a corny
It's
joke,
very
but,
corny.
Yeah.
Just like me.
That's right.
I'm not a huge Anne Hathaway fan in general, but I will say I've got to agree with you that like the fact that she is a huge celebrity and that she is posting photos on purpose and going to a party in the shittiest costume I've ever seen. And like, to be clear, for one Halloween recently, I taped a straw to my nose and I said that I was Bolsonaro after he got COVID. So like, I've done some really shitty Halloween costumes. This is shitty, like, this is like Mira level shitty Halloween costume. And for that reason, I do have to give her a 10.
I'm going to give her 4. Just because I feel like if you're really you have to earn the pumpkins. I think she, you know, maybe I could give her 5, but I'm going to go with 4 just because I think this is about effort and execution. And I think her effort is too low. I think her execution, considering what she's trying to pull off, is maybe decent, but
I think effort and execution are both incredibly low. Execution's terrible, 0 effort. But I think it has a lot of camp value, and for that reason, I give it a 10.
Why don't you like Anne Hathaway, by the way?
I just feel like every time I see her on screen, it's like she's acting, and I can really tell. Like, I just like something about her when she's
like a theater kid, like the Uber theater kid.
Oh, do not bark, baby dog. She's kind of an Uber theater kid in a way that just like, she seems like a fine person, but like, I don't know. I've just never been like super into her in any particular role.
I like that Devil
Princess Diaries. She was great Princess Diaries.
Devil Wears Prada. I like that movie.
Even that, I feel like she was okay, but like it could have almost been anybody.
Yeah, Meryl Streep is that whole movie. She's so good.
Yeah, she's that whole movie. Meryl Streep, also somebody who I like more than Anne Hathaway, but I haven't. Besides Devil Wears Prada, there's probably a couple others. I'm kind of like, I don't care about her as much as some other people do, I think.
I think she's great.
For Roses, and she's great, but like...
Adaptation.
Oh, that's true. She was really good in Adaptation. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's true.
She's genuinely gifted, that Meryl Streep.
She's gifted, for sure. So, okay, next costume. So our next costume, do you know who this is, Brad? And would you like to guess?
Very attractive woman, blonde woman. Looks like it's not Alice in Wonderland. I have no fucking idea. And then I can't tell who the guy is, but he looks like he's dressed like Pennywise, the clown.
Oh my God, this is really funny.
Or no, wait, this is Johnny Depp. Is that Edward Scissorhands? I have no idea. Or no, it's Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah, it's Alice in Wonderland. It's Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter. But I want you to guess who the celebrities are. I think this should be part of it now.
Is that Selena Gomez?
Yes, good job.
She looks taller than I think of her as.
This is the perspective is weird because she's like kind of like sitting like a little kid, and like her legs are, you can see like it's taken from below, so her legs are really in the forefront. But she's like pretty like leggy.
Yeah, she looks beautiful. And then I don't know who the Mad Hatter guy is. That her husband? I don't know.
That's her boyfriend, Benny Blanco, who's like a DJ or something like that.
Benny Blanco.
Selena looks gorgeous. I think this is a great Alice in Wonderland costume. I think she really went for it. She's got like it's not like a normal Alice in Wonderland dress that you'd see at Disneyland or whatever. It's like clearly a really well-made dress. It's got like a lot of tulle. It's really puffy. It's like light blue. It's almost like she's dressed as like the original Alice in Wonderland illustrations, which I like.
Yeah, that's a new take, because usually I think of the Alice in Wonderland dress as being that like light blue from like the Disney movie or whatever.
Right. And like if you look at like the old, is it Lewis Carroll, I think?
It's Lewis Carroll, yeah.
Yeah, like the old Lewis Carroll book illustrations are a little bit different than the Disney movie, and I feel like this was based on the Lewis Carroll illustration, which I like. Although the idea, a little basic, people have been Alice in Wonderland a lot. It's like not that creative. I'll give this one an 8.
I'm going to give it a 9. I'm like impressed. I mean, they put a lot of effort. I mean, look at Benny Blanco with the wig and the face makeup and the hat and the outfit.
Benny Blanco really put in a lot of effort. And Selena almost looks like a natural blonde here, which is pretty impressive.
I'm also always a little bit impressed and mystified by people who wear these costumes that, like, I get the aesthetic appeal of like really going for it and looking like you're in character, but then having to go be social with all this face paint on and a wig, and it just seems like it might become cumbersome.
Yeah, it's a running thing on like Bravo shows like Real Housewives and stuff, that they are constantly having like themed costume parties and then getting into like really dramatic fights where they're like wearing the most insane costumes you've ever seen and like screaming at each other about like the most insane shit. And it adds a lot to any social interaction to see them wearing these crazy ass costumes. I can't imagine what it's like in real life to try to have a serious conversation with a Mad Hatter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I get, people go out, they go to these Halloween parties. If you dress up, I guess it's fun, especially if you're like on drugs. And
yeah, I mean, I like dressing up. Like it
adds an element. I don't like it. Like if somebody invites me to a costume party, I will like resent them for weeks.
Really?
Yes.
See, like I just like if I don't have a costume, I'll like come up with something really low effort. Like I'll get a white shirt and I'll write Xanax on it. I've done that like 4 times. Like, and people are like, "Ha, funny," even though it's not really a costume.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh, I got to come up with this outfit. I got to wear it all night, and Yeah. Look what I did. I'm doing it for you. I'm wearing my Kale costume for the people.
True. I pressured Brad all week, maybe for 2 weeks, being like, I'm going to wear a costume and I'm going to look like a fucking idiot if you don't wear a costume too.
What else we got? Are there any other costumes to evaluate here?
This one I almost feel like we should just skip because it kind of sucks. This is Dylan Sprouse and Barbara Pelvin, who are dressed as Phantom of the Opera, obviously. Who cares?
I don't know who they even are.
He was like a Disney Channel star, and his wife, who cares? So,
okay, yeah.
On to the next one. Lizzo, who recently dropped a lot of weight from taking Ozempic.
Oh, really?
Is dressed as what I now realize is the South Park Ozempic episode, where Ozempic, I think, was like called Lizzo instead of Ozempic or something like that. And they like made a bunch of fat jokes about Lizzo. And so she's dressed as like the Ozempic from the South Park episode.
Oh.
Which is bizarre. I mean, it's funny that she's like embracing it, I guess. It's
a little sad. It's like a little bit, there's an element of sadness to this costume, but
it feels a little bleak.
It's very well executed. And
it's very well executed.
I do have to say, and then the picture that we are looking at here, there's like one of the South Park kids in the background. Like it's artfully presented.
What's the name of the South Park kid?
Is it Kenny? They killed Kenny?
No.
I don't fucking know. I don't watch South Park.
Cartman. That's Cartman. Come on.
I don't know anything about all that stuff. But
is that? Oh my god! Is that Kenny? That's so insane. It's Cartman in the background, who is the fat one on South Park, and her costume is like, it's like a square package that looks like an Ozempic package with like a measuring tape tied around it, like she's measuring her waist.
How much weight has she lost? She dropped like.
It looks like, I mean, she lost like a lot of weight. If I had to guess, I would say like 40 pounds.
It's incredible. This fucking drug. Like I have, have we talked about the homeless guy in my neighborhood who's on Ozempic?
He's homeless. How does he afford Ozempic?
He's got health insurance. He's got Obamacare. He's like subsidized.
Like it's barely covered by health insurance for like anybody.
Yeah, but he's diabetic. And he's pre-diabetic and was like pretty significantly overweight. and just had like a gigantic belly. You know, one of these guys. That's just like where all of it went. And
Visceral fat.
is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's like the fat that wraps around your organs and causes a belly like that.
It's not good for your health to have
It's
fat
really bad.
around your belly. And so, yeah, I see him and I'm like, man, you're looking trim. I was like, are you working out? He's like, no, I'm on Ozempic. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like only in LA, right? Like,
Yeah.
By the way, I walk my dog around my neighborhood a lot and I'm a creature of habit. So I take the same routes and like, I just see the same people a lot of the time. And there's a homeless dude in my neighborhood who's bi-coastal. He splits his time between New York and LA. Like, so he'll be homeless in LA and then he'll like somehow gather enough money to like buy a plane ticket. He'll fly to New York and
that's how bad housing is in LA, is that it is cheaper for him to buy a plane ticket to New York and to get a Section 8 voucher that they have in New York to house homeless people because otherwise they die in the cold than it is for him to get housed in Los Angeles.
I mean, he doesn't like to be indoors. He tells me he likes to sleep outside.
Well, that's, yeah, I don't know
I'm sure I bet you he'll come back to LA for the winter at some point. It'll get too cold, but he likes
probably.
He likes the autumn in New York. But I'm just like, where else do you have people who are experiencing homelessness who are like on Ozempic and like bi-coastal?
It's the most LA thing I've ever heard. Like they're both homeless and on Ozempic. That is like the two most LA things you can be as homeless or on Ozempic.
Well, one of the guys who's homeless is on Ozempic. The other one is bi-coastal, and he's a handsome dude.
So the three most LA things you can be is homeless, on Ozempic, or bi-coastal, and you know people who are like all of those. and
like one of the dudes has like movie star good looks. He's a former actor.
You know, there's a homeless person near me who stands outside the In-N-Out and who is just like the most handsome man I've ever seen in my fucking life. And like, I always like buy him like food or give him money if I have it when I see him. But like, he has got like a cadre of older ladies who like come up to him and they're like, hi, honey, like, how are you doing today? I got you your coffee. Like, they love him.
Right.
He's got a good situation going. Yeah. So for this Lizzo costume, it's kind of annoying, but the execution is really good. I'll give it a 7.
I'm going to give it an 8. I think like the element of sadness is that's where I'm marking it off. If it's Halloween, I don't want to feel sad. Yeah,
true. You want to feel like it's funny or it's good but not depressing.
Or like ultra spooky or something.
Exactly. All right, next costume. Brad, do you know who this is?
Right.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to give.
It's Daphne from Scooby-Doo. I know that.
Yeah, that's right. That's the costume.
But the person who's dressed up, is it RuPaul? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. So
this person who's dressed up is clearly a drag queen, dressed up in like a very fabulous Daphne from Scooby-Doo costume with like a silk scarf and like all glitter pink mini dress and then like a Mystery Machine purse. Her hair is like fucking 4 feet tall. This is Katya, who is a winner of, or at least a finalist of RuPaul's Drag Race. So you were kind of close.
I was in the ballpark. I got to say, I'm going to give this one a 10 because
this one is an 11 to me. This one is fantastic.
Well, the handbag, I think, is like, where do you get a Mystery Machine handbag? I guess maybe
it's good.
I feel like do you think that the handbag was made like by hand, or do you think it was bought? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I want to look into it. I wouldn't be surprised if like Jeremy Scott designed something like that, like something really silly like that. But if she got a custom made, then like I'm giving her like a fucking 25 pumpkins. That is incredible.
Well, I will say like the eye makeup and the face makeup feels like it's a departure from Daphne.
The eye makeup, face makeup is iconic to Katya. So she like clearly like made it pink to kind of like make it a little bit more Daphne, but Katya never goes out without this eye makeup. So that's just like her face, basically.
Wait, I'm trying to even like figure out where her actual eyes are.
This is the beauty of her eye makeup. It's right above. So her eye makeup, for people who are listening, she's got like a big white triangle, kind of like where you would think her eyes are. And then she has like black cat eye right above that. So it's like her eyes are in between the black and the white, and you can barely see where they are.
Fascinating. All right. Well, good job, Katya. I have,
wig, bag. I mean, 10 out of 10. Incredible. Like, great work. No notes.
Accessorizing.
She's like nailed it. Okay, so our next one is a really shitty photo because there was only an Instagram story, but I thought it was really funny. Do you know who this guy is in this photo? And do you want to guess?
Oh, it's Bowen Yang.
Wow, good job. Damn. Is this because you watch SNL? Is that why?
Yeah, my daughter loves Saturday Night Live.
So this is Bowen Yang, who I think is very funny. I like him a lot. And his costume is he's just wearing a white shirt that says silica gel on it. Like silica gel, do not throw away. Like just like the packets, which I'm going to give this a 10 just for the idea. I think it's just a very funny idea.
Well, like those little white random packets that appear in the bottom of like a little canister of vitamins or whatever.
Exactly. I think it's like a very low effort, funny idea. I'm into it.
I'll go 6. I mean, like just for the wit, but it's like, he needs to put more effort into it. I don't know who he's with or what she is.
The other thing about Bowen Yang is that he like is known for putting an insane amount of effort into his costume. So if I had to guess, this was like a early costume, and we're going to see a much crazier costume from him later on.
Yeah, he's rolling them out.
Yeah. So next we have a costume that I included because I thought it was funny, even though it is some might say deeply problematic. I'll just tell you who this is because she's wearing so much makeup you wouldn't be able to tell anyways. This is
it's a woman?
This is comedian Patty Harrison. And she is she is dressed up as Michael Jackson when he dangled his baby blanket over the edge of a balcony in a paparazzi photo. I don't have any problem with this. I think this is what Halloween is all about. I agree. I think that enough time has passed, and I think this is I think it's just the right amount of offensive, and I think it's really fucking funny. And also incredibly well executed. Brad didn't even know this was a woman. She like really looks like Michael Jackson. Yeah, the makeup is very well done. Then there's like a baby with the blanket over his head. Yeah. So you can't see the baby's face. I mean, and then the pants with the yellow stripe down the side, the sort of like band leader or whatever. Right. It's exactly the outfit Michael was wearing. Like the execution is fantastic. Idea is great. I cannot believe he dangled that baby over that balcony. That was crazy shit. That was crazy shit. I had forgotten about it until this costume. Brad, what do you rate this costume? I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 10. It's got everything. It's like the effort, the execution, the wit, and it's a little scary even. It's a little spooky, and it's also like just the right amount of inappropriate. Like you said, it's this subversive element. Yeah. I don't know who Patty Henderson is, but good for her. Harrison. Good job, Patty. Yeah, good job, Patty. We love you. That is Anne Hathaway again. Okay, this one I added just because so this is Tom Sandoval and his college-age girlfriend. Tom Sandoval is the person who created Scandoval, what's known as Scandoval, which is in Vanderpump Rules, a Bravo show in which he cheated on his girlfriend of 9 years with another cast member for a really long time, and it was super problematic. And now he is dressing up as a murderer from Scary Movie. So it's like a Scream mask. No, it's is it Scary Movie? No, it's that's what it said. Scream is Scream is the movie. That's what I was trying to think of. But they're dressed as like a parody version of Scream that appeared in the movie Scary Movie. Oh, okay. So it's like a Scream mask, but like the tongue is out, and like he's cut out like he has a cut out breast implant, which I guess happened in the movie. I'm giving this a 0 because Tom Sandoval sucks. I don't know anything about him, so I'm going to give him a solid like 6. All right, fair enough. Katya again. Okay, so here we have. Who do you think this is, Brad? I truly have no idea. Yeah, so this is this costume. Do you know what the costume is? I have no idea. I'm drawing a total blank on both the celebrity and the costume. So the costume is Coraline from the movie Coraline. It's a good costume. She really looks like Coraline. She's got all of the things. Blue hair. She's got the yellow coat. This is Victoria Justice, who it makes sense that you don't know who she is. She was the star of like a show that was on Teen Nick for a long time. And like, that's kind of all she's ever done. This costume's all right. It's kind of basic, well executed. I'll give her a 5. Yeah, I'll give her a 5 too. I don't know anything about this, but it's just like, I like the color yellow. So That's fair. You do like the color yellow. That's Michael Jackson. Right. This is
Michael Jackson likes the color yellow. Oh no, there's Michael Jackson holding the baby.
For those watching, here's Michael Jackson dangling blanket over a balcony. And
oh my God, that makes me nervous just to look at that.
Right. So this one is Kelly Ripa, and I don't know what the fuck her husband is named.
Mark Consuelos.
I
don't know. I'm shocked that I know that, but for some reason.
How the fuck do you know that? That's so crazy. Who the fuck is Mark Consuelos?
It's her husband.
But like, what does he do?
He's married to Kelly Ripa. He's an actor.
Fair enough. Yeah. They are dressed up as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and unfortunately, I do know that this was them at the U.S. Open specifically. I hate that I just know that off the top of my head, but I do. It's a well-executed costume.
Kelly Ripa's ripped. She's got guns.
She's Ripa. Yeah, she is like in fucking shape. God damn. I almost want to give her like a high score just for like how ripped she is. Jesus.
She does like Pilates like 4 times a day.
Yeah, this is a really basic costume though. I'll give him like a 3.
Yeah, I'm going to give a 4 just to be nice. And just to like honor myself for knowing who Mark Consuelos is.
True. Very true. Let's see. Do we have, this one is my favorite. So do you know what this costume is, first of all?
It's Adele.
The costume?
I don't know. I have no fucking. It's either Adele in the costume or Adele is the costume. But
God, neither.
Or no, it's a fairy godmother. Oh, fucking no.
It's kind of a fairy godmother. So for those who are listening, I'm going to describe the outfit, and you guys might be able to know who it is just from the description. The costume. So she is wearing a pink dress that has it's sleeveless. It's like a tube top dress with a butterfly that is attached to it in the front. She has a little crown on and a big teased up red wig that has like a used cigarette in it and a bunch of other stuff. She's got lipstick on her teeth. She's got a fan. Okay, I'll give you a second to think about it, listeners. And she's dressed as Chapel Roan in her Tiny Desk concert.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. I'm not tuned in. This is too current. Chapel Roan.
And so, do you want to guess?
Who's the celebrity?
Do you want to guess? It's not Adele. And you're never going to get it, but guess.
I have no idea. I truly have there's
so
just
this
nothing.
Celebrity is one of my favorite celebrities of all time. Trisha Paytas. She is a YouTuber who is famous for, I don't even know what the fuck. She is like a performance artist. I believe that she deserves to be in MoMA. I think that she is so fucking funny and insane. A lot of her videos involve her eating an insane amount of pizza, and that's it. She just eats a bunch of pizza. She has a podcast where she dresses insanely and talks to other YouTubers. She's just like, I don't even know how to fucking describe her. She comes out with songs that are insane. She cross dresses. She like will do these videos dancing and singing in her kitchen in really unhinged ways. Like, she's an artist.
She'll do anything for attention.
Probably, yeah. But like what she does for attention, like I love. And like Trisha Paytas, if you ever hear this, I'm your number one fan. Please contact me. I will do anything for you.
Amazing that you know all this. You're so knowledgeable.
Wow. Well, you're elderly senior citizen, so I don't expect you to know all of these things, Brad.
That's why, yeah. That's the.
Oh, and our last one. I love this one. Do you know who this is?
That's the Joker.
Right. Do you know who the celebrity is? So it's the Joker when the Joker is dressed up as a nurse in The Dark Knight.
I couldn't tell you who the guy is.
It is M. Night Shyamalan. My man, M. Night. Who I have recently learned to love. I love that he's so earnest. I love that he just makes movies that fail, and then he's just like, I'm going to make another one, and another one, and another one. And like 1 out of every 5 is the best movie you've ever seen in your life. I love him. I think he's great. Costume?
I think it's a good. I like the costume because, like, okay, here's what I'd say: it's well executed, good amount of effort. Like the makeup looks good, the hair looks good.
Yep.
I think too, like the he's playing with gender here in a way that's interesting.
Yeah, the choice of doing the nurse Joker and not any other Joker, I think, was a really good choice.
Yeah, and he's wearing, I think, what look like white Crocs.
Yeah,
I guess they're like white Birkenstock clogs.
Yeah, like white, like nurse clogs.
But with plaid socks, is that right?
I think that's what the Joker was wearing. Yeah,
it's very like detailed costume.
Yeah,
I'm gonna finish strong here. I'm gonna give him a 9.
Give him a 9. All right. See, I love M. Night so much. I just do, even though he makes some shitty movies. I love him as a person. I like how dated this costume is, how like so many people have done this costume so many years ago that like nobody does it anymore, and M. Night is choosing to do that in the year 2024. I think it's great. I'm gonna give him a 9 also.
Didn't Puff Daddy do this? P. Diddy?
The Joker?
I think he did the Joker one year.
So many people did the Joker.
Maybe M. Night is doing P. Diddy doing the Joker.
Right, exactly. Kind of how Tom Brady is doing the chicks doing Landslide.
Yeah, I feel like if this is the case, if M. Night is truly trying to channel P. Diddy here, this would make me reevaluate my score. I'd have to give him a higher score. But
there was a couple who did a costume where the dude was in blackface dressed as Diddy, and the girl was dressed as Baby Oil. And I'm sure their lives are now ruined as a result of those photos existing.
That's funny, though, right? Or I guess not. I don't know. It's like,
you don't get canceled, Brad.
It's twisted. It's twisted. It's Halloween. It's supposed to be scary. I mean, yeah, it's subversive. Let's give them that much. But
that's one way to put it.
Well, happy Halloween, Mira. Are you going to go trick-or-treating? What are you going to do? You have like wild parties planned or what?
I have no wild parties planned. I am going to go trick-or-treating probably with my niece and nephew. I'm currently crocheting a mouse hat for my niece. She's dressing up as a mouse, and my nephew's going to be a cat. I'll probably trick-or-treat with them. And then I have a plan to go watch Jennifer's Body at my friend's house.
Wow. Yeah, I'll be trick-or-treating with my kids. My son is going to be a Ghostbuster. And I think I have to be like a Slimer. I think Slimer's the name. So I'm going to, my wife got me the costume. It's like supposed to arrive. We're like on pins and needles around here. Like, is it going to arrive?
You're going to have to post a picture of it, or at least send me a picture so that I can post it, because listeners are going to want to see that.
Yeah. And then my daughter is going to be the Statue of Liberty, and her friend is like a tourist in New York. You know, they do these things. And when you get to be like teenage girls, they do things in like groups. It's like a group coordinated thing. So
absolutely. I did that when I was younger too. All three of them dressed as the Powerpuff Girls. We did that one.
Yeah, of course. It's cool.
Like you do naturally.
Like you do. But it's fun. It's fun for the kids, and I'm sure we'll go trick-or-treating and then hopefully get home. It's like also a little bit chaotic.
Hopefully get home.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You just get out there, and then it's just at a certain point, you're like, okay, let's wrap it up.
Yeah. At a certain point, you get tired, which is like
one trip around the block. One trip around the block, and I'm like, okay, we did it. Good.
It's nice being the aunt, because then I can make one trip around the block and be like, all right, see ya. I'm gonna go watch Jennifer's Body. Bye bye.
Yeah, later.
I gotta go smoke weed now.
When you're young, though, when you're like in your 20s, like Halloween's crazy. I feel like all the big parties probably happened last weekend, though, right?
Yeah, they were mostly last weekend. I think there will be some this weekend too. But I am going to like the epicenter of Boys Town, where all the gay bars are, where I'm sure it'll be bumping, and I will be entering my friend's apartment to watch a scary movie and not partying at all. So that's my life as a young person.
You're getting old, Mira. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I've kind of always been like this also, though. I like doing drugs and being insane, but going to big parties has never really been my thing.
It's going to be interesting if this podcast continues for decades and decades. Like, what if I'm like in my 80s and you're in what would you be in your 60s?
I mean, I remember when I was first on Otherppl, I was like 20?
Yeah, you were young.
12 years ago.
A young up-and-coming poet from the streets of Venice Beach.
That's right. From the streets of Venice Beach. Straight from the streets of Venice Beach.
Poet of the streets. Mira Gonzalez. Well, it's always a pleasure to discuss these things with you. I feel like I learn a lot. Thank you to everybody who wrote to us. If you have thoughts on the show or you just want to say hi, letters@otherppl.com. Happy Halloween. Vote. Make sure you vote.
Unless you're voting for Trump and then don't vote.
And yeah, exactly. In which case, stay home. And hopefully, I guess we're going to talk to you next week. I don't know if we're going to know the outcome of the election by the time we record, but we might know where things are.
Brad will either be incredibly anxious or incredibly depressed. So we'll see.
What are you going to be? You'll be depressed too, right?
Yeah, but I'm always depressed.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot. Oh, right. You're always like this.
Oh, yeah. Totally. It's your default mode. All right, Mira. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.